This Eternal Evolution video is everything to do with Turbine from the Guild Hunt. We're going to go through what he does, how he works, heroes to use, heroes to avoid, commanders to use, prototypes to use. Then we're going to look at his loot, and then we're going to go in and see how much damage we can crack out of this guy. So let's have a look at what he does. The first one is basically the last person to attack him. He'll launch 3 missiles doing 900% damage in total, and he'll also stun target for 5 seconds. Next up, he's going to charge up his missile launcher for 3 seconds. The more characters you have on the map, the less damage it'll do, so summoners will really help here. He's going to inflict 300% damage in a straight line ahead. So if you have someone like Taylor or Leo who can move around the battlefield and direct that fire, that'll help. This is very similar, but instead of a straight line, it's a fan shape. This is the most important part. Summoners are going to do 5 times the damage and also get 20% damage reduction. And then the boss scales up with damage over time. The best heroes to use, just get into the hero area, are your summoners. So for me personally, I'll always chuck Daniel in. Senway's really good, and depending, Kalaza can be good, but we're going to test him up against some other heroes to see who can do some more damage. In the lower levels of Turbine, you don't normally need a healer, but we might have to chuck a healer in here. But first of all, we'll try without it. And then after that, we're looking at putting in some high DPS champs. So for me, I'm going to try and bot Mark and Emma out because they're my 2 biggest damage dealers. Going into the commanders, we're going to be focusing on summoners. So you have 2 choices for summoners, and you've got Discar and you've got Enlighten. If you don't have either of these, you're still very early game. Brunhild can be a very good option as well because this is a single target, so you can do just massive single target damage. But you'll be missing out on the 5 times damage from the summons. Just a quick overview: Discard brings attack damage and lifesteal. So wrong one. So 35% attack and 8% lifesteal for 8 seconds on your summons. And this guy does 25% attack and 10% attack speed. Me personally, Enlighten's much better. The rest of the skills are for PvP. Going into the prototypes, there's a few options you can use. If you're not using summoners, you can use the Praying Eyes if you use crits, Vision Stone if you have defense down, which I do have, but it's hard to get this one leveled up. And then the other one that I will be using is Soaring Medallion. If you do 3 hits with 1 character on the boss, your entire team will do an extra 25% damage for 8 seconds. This one, you're just looking for the highest stat unless you're using tanks, but avoid tanks if you can. So I'll be using this one. It's my highest rarity, highest level. And Enlighten, it won't really matter too much. I'm just going for my biggest stats. Recently had an upgrade on this, but I'm looking at 34,000 HP compared to 43,500 HP, so I'll be using Flashpoint. All right, that is the prototypes. Let's get back to him, have a look at his loot. So his loot here that's going to add to the pool is going to be 3 of these, 150 of that, some leveling and some gems. So that's all the loot that you're going to get from here. But on top of that as well, obviously, as you rank up in your damage, you'll start unlocking more like Gene Hybrid shards and some summoning tickets. All right, let's get into some damage now. So as I mentioned, I don't know exactly what my strongest team is against this guy at the moment because I've kind of leveled him up quite a lot. But as I mentioned, we're using Light here. We've got a +2 in Daniel. Whoever's in the front's going to get an extra 6% attack. And I won't be using any Vanguards. And Kalaza's got a +1 as well. So that's that one. As mentioned, we're going to be using Soaring Medallion. This is my highest rarity, highest level. And using Flashpoint, highest rarity, highest level. So we want to chuck in the summoners first. Daniel, Kalaza, Senway. We're not going to worry about a healer yet, but I think I will need one. So we just want the biggest damage dealers. So we want to chuck in Botmark and Emma. All right, so this is going to be the team. Again, whoever's at the front is going to be getting an extra 6% attack. I know these guys are going to be my biggest damage dealers. We're just going to see if they can take the hits. So for this one, we can actually put everyone on auto. There's nothing special about this battle. The first run through of this, as I expect I'm going to lose someone pretty early on, is I just want to see who's the weakest character so that I can take the weakest character out and replace him with a healer. If I manage to get all the way through when everyone survived, like maybe he's targeting the summons instead of my main characters, then I'll just look at keeping all the damage in there and having no healer. The other thing to keep in mind at the moment is you've got your summoners of the your heroes of the week. So Senway's in there, and I think Emma is as well. We'll have a look straight after this battle. But yeah, Senway should be doing a bit of extra damage more than normal, 30% extra attack basically. And in here you can see Bot Mark's actually doing the lowest amount of damage, and I am going to need a healer because I'm at about half health. So Bot Mark's doing the lowest damage, but he does bring defense down. So it could actually be that I need to take Emma out because she's the second lowest, as I need the defense down on Turbine. So we'll see how we go. Definitely going to lose Bot Mark soon. And we've just got Daniel absolutely punching out massive amounts of damage. But Senway is really not too far behind, which is quite good. All right, that'll do it. Definitely going to need a healer. What we can do as well is we can actually have a look at the percentage of health that he's got left at 30 seconds and see if it's worth it. So we'll hang on for a little bit longer. And at 30 seconds, he's got 12.7%. So going to pull out Emma. I'm going to put in Masrani. Masrani now buffs the back line. So we actually want the front line to have the extra damage, Masrani in the middle, and our two biggest damage dealers at the back. Nothing else is going to change. And we're looking forward down to 30 seconds. Oh, someone must have actually hit him. All right, well, we're probably going to kill him this time. Everyone's on auto. It's going to be a bit of a shame. I don't, in my guild, I do some of the biggest damage to these bosses. So I'm hoping it's either really close in me killing him, and I only just managed to kill him, or else it's a bit of a waste of a key. Or I'm not as powerful as I think I am, but I reckon we'll get him down to about 3% at least. I'll hopefully kill him. At the moment, you see Daniel's pulling away a little bit ahead. Sometimes Samway just has a huge buff that comes in to do a lot of damage. So yeah, we're getting down to the 1 minute mark, so we're halfway. Yeah, we're going to get him down to about 2 or 3% health, I think. And this way you can see, like, it's telling you here to summon as many heroes as you can because he's charging his missile. This is where you got to make sure that you've got as many summons out of the battlefield as you can. Unless you've got a really strong healer, then you can just tank and heal through it. And yeah, my best guess is that we're going to get him down to about 2% health. Right, almost there. The most important thing when you're doing this is actually trying out different heroes. I've pretty much mastered what sort of roster I'm going to use against this boss. But every single time I jump in here, I do trial and error a few things just to be sure. Yeah. So we've chucked in just under 7%. He's only got 3.14%. So I do have another key I won't be using on this guy. It'd be best for me to save it, let one of the lower guys in the guild finish him off, and then I'll jump in for the next one. The next one being the spider. And as you can see, I've unlocked an achievement as well. So my total damage is scaled up to over 10 billion. So a few extra prizes to collect here. In the single target damage, I've got to get all the way up to doing at least 700 mil in one run. Anyway, that's everything to do with Turbine. Hope you enjoy it. See you later.